Hey, what's up, everyone? You are watching or listening to the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY, and today we shall talk about Warstrike, issue number 1. This is an Ultraverse Malibu comics from May 1994, written by Dan Danko, Hoan, Nguyen, Bob Downs, David Lanphear, Tim Devar, interior colors by Violent Hues, and editor Roland, Mann. So, you know, I loved Ultraverse. I was a big fan of the comic book imprint of Malibu Comics. It was definitely one of the coolest comic books to come out, especially with that original run right there. It was always about the stories, um, and you know, I think as they became more and more popular, and before Marvel would purchase them or acquire them, that is. Uh, I think Warstrike happens to be one of those characters that seemed like it was really Marvel-esque in a way. With the popularity of what was happening with Image Comics, and also what was happening with Cable, the popular Cable, guns ablazing, big, bulky heroes, thanks to thanks to Rob Liefeld. Warstrike would be a character like that. Again, the banal, over muscular character with a ponytail, which was very 90s. And I think this title got lost in the shuffle, especially for me because I don't really remember it until I reread it and I was like, whoa, I forgot about this one. But this first issue is a continuation from Ultraverse Premiere, issues 1 through 3. And that kind of sucks for those who never picked those titles up because that's the only way you're going to know who Warstrike is. And pretty much Warstrike is thinking that the fight against Strand and his gang was done, and now he's in the fight of his life against Nero, a cybernetic hulking cyborg wannabe who talks like Angry Hulk and is blown up and caught in fire thanks to Warstrike. As Warstrike goes home, he wonders who hired Nero, and what his connection with Strand is. Warstrike then remembers that something happened a week ago when he visited Senator Klein, and what happens to be, Klein happens to be a guy running for president, and he sent Warstrike on a job to find his missing daughter, who was kidnapped in return for political favors. And during this investigation, it led him to the name of Colonel Snowden. Meanwhile, let me show. There's the artwork right there, and you can check how this one went, and how it's all about the muscles and big bulky hero with weapons. Anyway, as Warstrike goes back home and puts on his suit, he's greeted by an angry assistant Shelby. We learn that Warstrike, his real name is Brandon Tark, a wealthy individual, womanizer, and also professionals making high-tech gear for Brandon Tark and the military. By the way, this sounds very familiar. Tony Stark, Brandon Tark, interesting. Meanwhile, at the world headquarters of Xanadu, Amalgamated, he proposes to take down all Ultras and how superpowered individuals are deviants. And the man named Kyle is insistent on taking down the Ultra known as Warstrike. And they hire a mercenary named Blind Path to take Warstrike down. As Warstrike gets a new weapon, which Giz created and used as weapon to blast part of the laboratory, which pisses Giz off. Which doesn't sound right when I type that. When I say that Giz or Jizz, I'm not sure. I'm sure it's Giz as in Gizmo, right? Anyway, Warstrike leaves home knowing he's pissed off, Shelby, Giz, and also his girlfriend Jill for not being there for her. And, pretty much things are not going his way. And while riding on his vehicle, someone shoots a rocket-propelled grenade towards him and blasts him off his bike. Who is responsible? Anyway, this is an issue that people who enjoy like Marvel's Cable and Iron Man will probably enjoy. The character and his design is no doubt reminiscent of the 90s, but I guess if anything, if you love action, this issue will definitely entertain you. This character will entertain you, but again, it's not a long-lived issue because Marvel ended up acquiring Ultraverse, and a lot of these characters that a lot of people grew, started to grow, to read and grow with. It's just unfortunately they didn't last for all that long. So anyway, that is Warstrike, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye bye.